Go ahead. All right, we had the agenda sent to us earlier. Where at here? We have the minutes from November 10th with the additions, corrections of minutes.
I have none. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
We have motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We had claims come, drainage board claims come through on regular claims this morning. I don't think we had any questions on drainage claims, so I entertain a motion there.
I'll move that we approve the drainage claims.
Second.
We have motion second on claims, all in favor, say aye.
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 Next slide is your financials from 2 weeks ago on the 10th. You had 99 systems positive, 10 negative, 338,000 in your GDI. Today you have one less system in the positive, one more obviously in the negative. And that is a Sycamore Creek, which we've done a fair amount of work over the last few years. It probably will pop back over into the positive, but then it will come up in the negative because there's some erosion issues down on the lower area of that stream that we are going to need to work on over the next few months. So with that, you have 98 positive, 11 negative. You have, being that we get interest, actually, you have a little bit more in your GDI, not by very much, only by about $700 than what you had 2 weeks ago. And the amount is $338,869. And I keep bringing that up because today we're getting ready momentarily to do the, on your next slide, the Ongst tile reconstruction project. If you remember, right, quite some time ago, you went through a hearing on this and chose to reconstruct that drainage system from the Norfolk Southern Railroad up to the upper end of the main tile, which is over on the west side of the State Road 3 bypass. This all being located west of the bypass and north and south of Drake Road and east and west of Beacon Road. Today we're doing the first phase of that in order to kind of break it up. We were wanting to do it more all in one, but because of the way the other reconstruction projects are paying out, it allows us to get started. We wanted this to be available so that we can get the money repaid back hopefully in 2027. And so we'll do the first phase, excuse me, which will take it up to the south side of Drake Road. With that, one of the things, and I don't have it on your PowerPoint, but you can see here, most of the time you come directly across at a 90-degree angle. So because of the way this tile lays, there's a significant crossing on this going at an angle, obviously not parallel, but close to that in comparison with most crossings where it's over 100 feet within the right-of-way for a crossing. I worked with Zach Smith, the highway department. He is in agreement that that would be the best way to go. It keeps the flow best in the piping system, being that this is the lower portion of the system. With that, we have 4 excavating contractors that have quoted this, and we also have 1 material supplier. So I will open these and give them to the
It's a good, isn't
yeah, it's gonna work.
it? Okay.
I think I was attempting.
Just sharpen
I think I was attempting to cut into the actual paperwork.
This is from Greg Owens. His quote is for $44,804.36. Next one is from Knott Drainage. This is for $33,772 $2 even. Next quote from LI Excavating. This is for $45,094.50. Tri-County Excavating. Theirs is for $60,942.50.
Obviously, I'm pleasantly surprised because, I was figuring a fair amount more than that, and I thought I would shave the numbers to be closer to where I thought the contractors would be. And I was $97,102. So.
Well, the landowners like it to be overestimated.
Yeah, but it's really going to help with the finances that we have.
Yeah, that's what I
To be
mean.
able to move, through this.
Do you have any idea how much is in that fund, Hans?
It doesn't really matter, but I can look it up real quick.
I know we're going
Because it's
reconstruction, but
reconstruction, the ONS has $88,289.84. That's 88,289.84.
that's in its maintenance fund rating?
That's in the maintenance fund. However, if you could see it up on the screen, you can see it on there, and it doesn't even do it really justice. There is a fair amount of other tile within that system. We have one supplier.
And this is from Dixon for Pappy D, which is $96,206.34.
And my estimate is $103,250.50.
103,
103,250.50. So with that, you're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of $130,000 project plus stone. Stone's gonna be about 40,000, so you got about 170,000 on this part of the project. And I had estimated a total of about 240, so that's coming in very good. It would be very beneficial. I would advise that you I would recommend that you take these under advisement until December 8th, allowing my staff and I to review these, make sure that there's no inconsistencies, bring a recommendation to you at that time, and if you desire to move forward, I will have contracts ready for your signature.
Make a motion so stated.
a second.
We have moved to second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, that I enjoyed very much. Moving on, I'll give you some quick updates. With Z Baker, this is in the Finley system, we've talked about this a few times, south and west of Lake Barbara. Working on that, we have got the tile located, we've got the water down in that area on the Mike Jasper property. And right now, we are designing a project to go through that wet area. I believe the tile has sunk. It did not have bedding from when it was put in 25 years ago. Putting together a project, getting some quotes on that so that we can move forward with replacement of that portion. On the downstream side, the tile is empty. On the upstream side, the tiles clear up in a Hickenbottom riser, indicates that we've got a belly through there. So we're working on that, working with the landowner. A lot of that will be solid tile, get bedding in it. The next ones, you'll see the pictures where the vacated branch, one of the Z Baker comes in, is where the pile of dirt, he has moved that away from the location of our tile so that we can move forward on that. Right now, we're in the design portion at our office. Fall projects going down through very quickly. The two opens were approaching a little over a month away on having them needing to be completed. You'll see one of them has been taken off. That was the one down in the Mud Run. It was by Dave Gross, and that project has been completed and actually built and taken care of. Second one that you have is on the Halfordy. That's about 4.5 miles east of town, east of Albion, on both the north and the south side of State Road 8. You'll see the picture on the second page of that. Mike Haynes Bulldozing has that project, and I anticipate that either this week or next week he'll move in. There is a pipe under the Paul Rigsby driveway that has to be replaced. The pipe is on site and ready to go when he gets to that point. Moving on to the tile projects, a little bit lengthier time. There's about half a dozen of these. They need to be substantially completed by April 17th. I believe that yards have to be in by the latter part of May. First one being the Gretzinger drain. This is on 500 North, east of 500 East. So this is not excavating and drainage, and they will be doing that after the lash. The stone, by the way, on all of these projects is on site. We've got that on there before we start to have rains, so in case we had inclement weather and would not be able to get the dump trucks back in order to get stone. There's nothing happening more on that one at this point in time. I don't believe tile has been delivered on that one. The Hardendorf is north and west of Skinner Lake and north and east, it's up here. And that one, we have the stone on site, have everything laid out, 1,410 feet of 10-inch tile. Seaver Brothers will be putting that in. And I believe, originally I thought it would be the first one they handled, but I think it will be the second. They have two projects to do. The second we'll talk about here in a minute, so it may be a little while before they get to that. At this point in time, about the best thing that could probably happen is to, of course, in that situation, we have the tile on site. Any of these that we don't have the tile on site, it'd probably be wise for the ground to freeze up in order to be able to get tile closer to the location where we will actually be doing the installation. The biggest project of the fall tile projects is the lash tile number 211. This is a lengthy project, has over 3,000 feet of tile, the largest part being 1,300 feet of 24-inch clear at the back end of the Jeff and Monty Van Gessel farm. This is located on the south side of 300 North, almost to the East County line. All the stone is on site, all the tile is on site. The contractors informed me that they'll probably be starting next week. That is the one, if you remember right, where the watershed fund is paying for half of it. We anticipate that to be approximately $48,000. County highway funds will be paying for 25%, which is anticipated to be approximately $24,000. Each of the landowners, Brian Fortman and Jeff Van Gessel, will be paying a quarter of the cost, approximately $12,000. The next one is the Schwab tile. This is up in the northwest part of the county, located between 400 north and 500 north. 1,000 north and 1,100 north, between 400 west and 500 west, about right in the middle of the section, way back off of the road. Tile is on site. That is where Mark Jackson is mobilizing to at this point in time, so I anticipate that he will either start that this week or next week. He has Jack Owen move his excavator, and at this point, he's just coordinating with Jack to get his excavator moved from the Jim Parker property up to that location. I anticipate probably by about the middle of next month, or before Christmas, that will be completed. The next one is the Cooney tile. This is the second one that I talked about that the Seaver Brothers have. I believe the first one that they are going to be accomplishing. This is down in the area of 800 east and 400 south. We're wanting to work with them and open it up on both sides of the Eminger driveway. The Eminger driveway, if you remember right, is a concrete driveway. We need to determine whether or not the 8-inch tile underneath that. First of all, we need to make sure that it is 8-inch, and if so, that the tile is in adequate condition to be able to handle the drainage going through there. And if not, allowing Mr. Eminger enough time to get his contractor, which he has secured if he needs it, out of, I believe, Auburn, to directional bore underneath the driveway. And the last one is the McCoy drain. This is in the Bilger upper northwest part of the Bilger watershed system. This is just on the east side of 600 east between Hopewell and Baseline Road. There's a little over 2,200 feet of 15-inch tile that go through that area. If you remember right, the tile crosses 600, goes over to the west side, goes up a little ways, comes back on the east side. The landowner on the west side desires for his woods not to be cut, and so we are keeping the tile totally on the east side, connecting in the tile from his side, allowing that to work best that it can. And that's exactly what he is wanting to have completed. That is probably the third and the last one that will be completed by not excavating on that of the projects that they had. And potentially the next to the last one, because it looks like they appear to be the low bidder on the onks. So after you get the ability to get those three done, then you will probably be starting on the onks. Obviously on the onks, we're gonna get it laid out, and provided we move ahead with a contract on the 8th. As soon as we can get frozen ground back across, because we have to cross across 2 farms, we're going to get the stone material on that project. Terms, projects, moving on, we have the Glosser. This is in the area of 200 north of Weimer Road over near the East County line. We have some washouts both on the north side and the south side of the road. We're working on how to take care of those at this point in time. I do not have it on there, but we worked with Mark Jackson down on the Falk tile that was in the Willow Creek. Remember right, we had Jim Parker that had a number of washouts. Those have all been taken care of. Surface pipes put in. It turned out real well. We went ahead and went down by the west side of 800 east and the Falk ditch or the Willow Creek, and took care of a major washout there, putting a 24-inch pipe with a flared end section at that location. That's what Mark just finished up the latter part of that last week. This would be a similar type situation in the Glosser that we had down on Jim Parker's. And I'm hoping to get to that as we get through the winter in order to have it ready to seed in the spring. Nothing more on future at this point. We're always looking and putting stuff together. I will probably at the next meeting, if there is time, go over a summary of the beaver trapping. We've just wrapped up the season with 32 in the 24-25. We're getting ready to begin the 25-26. That's the way it works with the state as far as in season and out of season. And with that, we have 2 of our main contractors that have submitted contracts to continue removing beaver for the county drainage board. That being Christopher Steinbarger. He is in Steuben County. He's located at 5030 South Old US 27, Pleasant Lake, Indiana. And then also locally in Noble County, we have Eric Bostine. And Eric is located at 5430 North, 750 West, Ligonier, Indiana. We have to sign a new contract that begins on November 15th each year. So we do have a third one that has sporadically done beaver trapping in the past. He has not committed to signing a contract. So I have two of the contracts. Here they are. You can review them. They're our standard contract we've used for quite a few years. And I would make a recommendation that you approve and have the chairman sign those.
I make a motion, we approve the beaver trapping contracts for Christopher Steinbarger and Eric Vostein, from November 17th through 2025 until 2026, November 2026.
I'll second.
There, have motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm not aware of any variances that we have at this time. One of the other things I want to slip in here before we go to the next slide, because I did not have it on there, even though I knew about it, and that is in front of you, or hopefully you have it, I can pass this around, is the agenda for the regular meetings in 2026. This coincides with your Board of Commissioners meetings. Obviously, our meeting starts at 11 o'clock or immediately following the Commissioners meeting. So there is a copy if you desire to look at it.
I got that one.
You have one, okay? You need to make a motion at this point, or at some point before the first of the year concerning that agenda so that we can post it accordingly.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Noble County Drainage Board regular meetings for the calendar year of 2026.
Second.
We have motion second on the calendar, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I thank you, and I did get notice just in enough time that I was able to edit the slides for today's meeting, so the next slide that you have is the St. Joseph River Basin Commission. Matt Mearsman, Executive Director, who wanted to come and see our meeting and I believe give us an update from the basin's perspective on how things are going throughout the river basin, and he has with him Mr. Dan Lash.
No, we came in separately.
Oh, okay.
We'll take them. So Dan serves as Anita's proxy on our commission, so Dan's usually there. And mostly I just wanted to come listen. I realized that it had been quite a while. I've been in LaGrange County a lot at their drainage board meetings. And just sitting through them and hearing what I heard today, you know, I gotta applaud you guys. Staying on top of a system as complex and extensive as what you've got here in Noble County, it's just incredible. And, you know, I think what I'm seeing in LaGrange County is, you know, as, I don't wanna say complex and extensive of a system. I mean, they've got probably similar in terms of miles of regulated drain. But the maintenance programs on them have been sort of handshake deals a lot made between landowners, which was advantageous at the time. We don't gotta bring it before the board, we don't have to do this stuff. But over time, that's fallen away, and a lot of these drains are in serious need of reconstruction a lot of times. And the public hearing process to go through that, the jarring of like how much this is gonna cost when they haven't paid in for a long time, it's scary up there. So that's just an immediate reaction, just to say, wow. And I guess on that note, one update to sort of give you is we held a sort of a drainage roundtable after our last meeting where we had the surveyors from each of the 6 counties in the basin, kind of talking about how financing works in their county, because we've got some, it's different, it's not the same in every county. The biggest difference, of course, is Elkhart County has a cumulative drainage fund, which means it's not by watershed, you know, landowners don't pay based on benefit in the same way. And, you know, LaGrange is sort of looking at that as an option. Since since our roundtable, they have realized it's not the ideal replacement that they had hoped it was. The tax caps sort of prevent them from being able to collect the amount of money that they would need to in that way. So they're kind of back to the drawing board a little bit. I think they're still looking at it. But I really appreciated Randy's participation along with the Kosciuszko County Surveyor. Both have watershed-based maintenance systems that are maintained, like that they've been staying on top of. And so you don't have to have, 17 public hearings every quarter just to try to get back. I mean, it's the administrative burden part of it is serious. So anyway, I would say two updates to give, and just, letting folks know that we were working with Randy on the stormwater ordinance back before the state passed some stuff to sort of limit what's possible. But we had, Christopher Burke involved to review the ordinance that we had here. And then we've got a few gauges on tributaries of the North Branch of the Elkhart that we've been monitoring. We had to replace a couple of those recently. We are in the midst of a strategic planning process right now where we're looking at, among other things, where we might install some additional gauges at. So that's something on the horizon here, right? And then I guess the other thing that I would mention is a potential project with the University of Notre Dame to sort of understand how land use is impacting flows in the drains, and what I'm hoping is also, so we're get all these monitors out there, and then we're monitoring land use and land management practices. And if we can work with the surveyors in terms of where changes have been made, so Zach's got a couple systems that have gone from open ditch to tile, or where the tile's been enlarged, fairly significant changes in the infrastructure of a small drainage system. And he's seen contrasting, like in one sense, it actually reduced flows. At times he would have thought he would have been seeing higher flows. And so what we want to do is document some of this and see if we can help get at sort of maximizing the engineering of these systems, so that we're not overbuilding them, but that we're providing adequate, storage and conveyance. And I guess the simplest way to understand this is sort of an age-old thing we hear about at the Farm Bureau's drainage school and things like that, is this sense of if you tile a piece of ground, you've essentially lowered the water table when things are working properly, under normal circumstances, so that when you get a rain event, theoretically there's some additional capacity for holding the water in there. But the other side of that coin is when you drain the water out of that land, you've added water into the system and therefore reduced capacity. So which one is it? And or when is it one and when is it the other? And how can we sort of maximize the sort of available storage? Because in the end, when we got a situation like West Lakes, where we study it and we look at it and really the opportunities for getting more water out are sort of limited to sort of our weed management, logjam management, things like that. What we really want to try and do is reduce, or I should say, increase storage upstream. Where we can hold water in the ground, we want to try and do that. So if adding tile would help that, well then let's know and understand that. If not, we want to make sure that we design those tile systems so that it's just enough to get that land drained. So anyway, there's a potential partnership with University of Notre Dame, some grant funds that may be coming from Amazon. I don't know how much the news makes it out here, but over in St. Joe County, big data centers have been coming in Elkhart County as well. And so Amazon, I think, is wanting to throw some money at research and studying the water management systems because they're using a lot of water at these data centers. So we're trying to be there at the table for that. And then I guess one other announcement, I just forgot all about it. The DNR has launched the groundwater study for the St. Joe Basin. I don't know if you guys remember all the hype over West Lafayette, the Leak Lebanon, big water issues there. That sort of triggered the state to start doing these regional groundwater studies to better understand how much water do we have, how much water can we be selling to the data centers without making our irrigation wells go dry or municipal water supplies, that kind of stuff. So they have started the groundwater study for our St. Joe and Maumee river basins that got kicked off last month. So just a couple little updates there, and thank you guys for what you're doing and participating and supporting the commission.
We appreciate you
Yeah.
doing.
We appreciate what all you do.
And that's been one of the things that I've seen is, as we've done these tile systems. Most of the time, we have pattern tiling coming in directly after that. And what that does is allows us to manage the water better, so that we have some capacity to hold water in the soil before it just goes running off. Whereas before, when we didn't have these taken care of, we didn't have that capacity for anything in the soil. The water came down, it ran off immediately, caused more issues downstream, both from quantity and also quality. And now we're seeing that it's helping out everybody. It's a win-win. It's a win for places like West Lakes, but it's also a win for farmers because fertilizer has become so astronomically expensive that if you put that fertilizer on there and you have no way of, if your ground is relatively full of water, when you get a rain, then the fertilizer goes right out with it. Whereas you have the ability for that soil to be able to absorb that water and over time then meter it out. You're keeping your fertilizers there where you need it and you're spending less money on that, which is a huge savings to the agricultural community. So it's a balancing act between what you folks do and what you do and you people at West Lakes. And when it all works together, it's really cool.
How do you feel about the, and a lot of this might be your personal knowledge, but our understanding of how extensive the private tile side is? Like, you know, for on the science side of things, in research, they're always looking for data, and they can sort of do leaf or non-growing season aerial imagery. You can often capture, you can see where the pattern tile's been laid. And you know, AI is getting smart enough to sort of pick up some of that, and so we've had these rough maps made of, you know, where we think tile is. But my understanding was always that we have, you know, some of this stuff was installed 150 years ago, like no good tile maps on the private side. I was wondering if you feel like.
Well, most of the stuff that was put in, you know, a number of years ago was put in through the valleys and the areas that are, and you can pretty well pick it up on the aerials that we have.
Yeah.
But the agricultural community is going to expend money where they have good outlet. And that's what we see is that once we get our part done, I oftentimes see wheat fields come soon thereafter.
Yeah.
Because then immediately upon harvesting the wheat, then you can have time to put in private tiling, get that taken care of at the right time of year, and then it's ready to go back into row crop farming the following year, so.
Do you happen to have a point data file where some of your outlets, or not your outlets, rather the landowners' tile outlets are? Is that any kind of information that you keep track of?
We do to an extent, especially in areas where our contractors contact us because we GPS all these tiles as they go in, our tiles.
Okay.
So then it's convenient for them, if they wanna connect in, we can tell them, okay, at this location, dig down 6 feet, you're gonna get our
Can't
tile.
find the tile.
And that helps them out.
And so then you have a record
So
of
then
that
we
tie-in.
know where their tie-in
Okay.
is, that type of thing. Doesn't happen with everybody,
Right.
but we are educating contractors. We don't wanna be the police,
No.
but we want to have as good a data as we can have for our site.
And if there is a benefit to tile, to the drainage system, if the downstream system is actually, let's say, cheaper to maintain because a landowner has installed their own private tile, then you'd wanna be able to credit them for that in the when you're apportioning benefit. But if it's the opposite, that is, if it puts a higher burden or load on the system, then we would wanna recognize that as well, just sort of understanding what that new addition of tile does to the larger system. Does it increase the burden, or is it actually pulling water out of it, and I'm guessing it depends on the weather event, how much moisture's in the soil already, all those kinds of things.
All sorts of things, topography,
Exactly.
soil types, all that together, but with computer systems, we have the ability to track this stuff much better than what we used to. Thank you for coming
Yeah.
over.
Appreciate you.
Mr. Lash, did you have something that?
Well, I can report where we are. We got the auditor, she's not here now, she certified our petition. Unless I know differently, I don't know what she came in here for, but the petition's been certified, our attorney, as of.
Nothing to do with you guys.
Good,
Something the commissioners did this morning.
good, so. Our attorney, as of last Monday, notified us that he was filing the petition and and you know, the everything with our circuit court. And we expected that we would hear by the end of last week, hearing date and the cause case number. So I called the clerk's office Friday and I didn't get anything definitive, but we're at this point, we're waiting for a hearing date and a cause number. So that's where we are right now, so.
Okay.
So, and I came here today because I didn't know if you were gonna be discussing what we had talked about last time we met.
Did not have anything up, but the update is greatly appreciated.
The last couple of things we have on the agenda for today is a work crew. The mini crew is on the Onks 215. There is a little bit of debrushing on fence rows between the Colson-Beck property and the Bernard property that needs to be taken care of. As we can get the crew back there, probably with this weather coming in tonight, tomorrow morning, it won't be this week. But we wanna get back there and get that completed as soon as the ground's adequate to be able to get their equipment out there. The second one is the McCoy ditch. This is located, it would be east of Long Lake Road, both on the north side and the south side of 175. We've been notified by the highway department that they are wanting to replace the structure underneath 175 north in that area. And so we were out there, did some survey work and determined that the McCoy ditch from the Thuma all the way to the upper end where the tile starts needs to be bottom dipped in order to get the proper grade on that. I believe it's size is a 4-foot diameter pipe going underneath there. So they're going to be debrushing on that so that we can get that part done in preparation for the county highway replacing that. I'm going to work a little harder this week on DOC contract because I have not heard anything, I'm assuming you have not. No other outstanding minor repairs on tiles or openings that I'm aware of at this point to bring before the board. So any discussion the board has or questions that you have with Jeanette or myself. Otherwise, our meeting will be on December 8th. At that point in time, I am anticipating that we will be able to give you a report that hopefully will allow you to award the contracts for the reconstruction of the first phase of the Onks 215. And that is all that I have. I put Denny asleep.
He's ready, man. Look at him, packed up, he's like.
I think there's been more than one person at this table who have yawned today. It's contagious.
Go down through
Several times, maybe. There's no question, I'll entertain a motion.
Also move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.